When Presentiment of Death first showed up on the PlayStation Store, I knew I had heard of it before. Previously releasing on the Quest and PCVR with a lack of reviews, it seems the game never really caught the attention of the VR crowd. I'll be going over what the game offers to help you decide if this is one for you. First off, before we jump into the review, I'd like to remind you all to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment and a like. The support really means a lot to me, so without further ado, let's crack on with the review. There is no story with this game, although there is a story mode, but this doesn't add any context to the game or what is happening, it's just a series of levels. Gameplay wise, this is pretty much like Superhot, but instead of weapons, you're using a bow. Enemies will come towards you in slow motion, but when you pull back your bowstring, they will move at a normal speed, meaning you'll have to hit them as fast as you can before they reach you. The enemies will also throw axes and spears at you, which means you'll have to dodge these, as one single hit will return you back to the start of the chapter. However, if you're quick enough, you can grab the axes or spears and throw them back at the enemies. Later on in the game, you'll come across enemies who will use bows as well as some boss variants. The gameplay is fun and familiar, and it made me feel incredibly cool taking shots all while twisting round and dodging enemy projectiles. It's challenging at times, but also feels very rewarding. As well as the story mode, you have survival, which is exactly what it says on the tin. I tried this a little bit early on, but at that time I wasn't too good with my aiming, but either way it's pretty cool. As for the graphics, they look decent, good lighting with nice reflections. However, the actual surroundings you're in are pretty bland but not made poorly, and they do look good. The enemies coming towards you are a bit plain, but they look like robots. The boss variants look a lot better. Unfortunately, the game does not have any haptic support or adaptive triggers, and this is a huge missed opportunity. The trigger should tense up when pulling the bowstring to really add that realism of a bow. I also feel there should be headset haptics when you get hit. I'm hoping the developers can add this in post-launch, as I think it would breathe a new life into this game. I'm happy to say that I didn't experience any crashes or frame drops. Now for the settings. Due to you standing on the spot, there are no adjustments required for comfort. Turning is done in real life and not by analog. Sadly, this game does not support seated players. You can't readjust your height, and I don't think it would work too great seated unless you was on a swivel chair. Now for what I didn't like. As stated above, the lack of haptic or adaptive trigger support for this game is such a huge missed opportunity, and it sucked a bit of the life out of the game. The bow could also be a bit more weighty, or at least add an option for this. I also wish the story had some form of dialogue or even text to read before each level to give context, as it would be nice to follow something along. I also found the tracking to be a bit off at times, but not majorly. Lastly, the game has recentering issues, and by this I mean sometimes when you load a level you'll be looking in the wrong direction. This needs to be patched, but until it is, I'd recommend recentering at the start of each level. I'm also happy to say, for any trophy hunters out there, this game does have a platinum. Overall, the Presentiment of Death is a fun game, and I had an absolute blast playing this one. This game made me feel incredibly cool. Taking shots from a distance to watch them hit in slow motion felt satisfying every single time, and completing challenging levels made it feel very rewarding. The game itself isn't very long, but it's enjoyable, and I had such a great time with it. So, should you get this game? Well, if you're a fan of games like Superhot, then yes, I recommend you picking this up. However, if you're not a fan of replaying multiple levels or games where you don't move, then I suggest you avoid this one. This concludes my review for Presentiment of Death. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to stick around. I cover PSVR2, Quest and PCVR, so I'm sure you'll find something that interests you. Thanks for watching and have a great day.